Don't try anything you're about to see at home.
Well, there's your problem.
In this special series of Mythbusters,
It's almost too exciting.
the Dream Team tackles their dream themes.
It's scientific!
Testing myths about everything from electricity to pressure and gravity.
This won't hurt a bit.
Shaking down the science of shockwaves, velocity, and ballistics. With crazy chemistry,
Oh my goodness.
far-out physics,
Fun for the whole family.
and insane explosions.
Is everybody okay?
Life's burning questions answered. On Mythbusters, there's your problem. On this episode, the team put themselves on the line as everyday accidents are put to the test.
This is gonna be a horror show.
And later, myths about some very weird weapons are lying in wait.
Death and destruction.
Fire.
It's chaos,
We have to hurt this boat.
carnage,
Watch out!
and catastrophe, Mythbusters style. First up, could this innocent Sunday ritual ruin your neighbor's day?
Oh, crap.
It's Sunday morning. It's time to mow the lawns. Your lawnmower goes over some rocks, kicks it across the street, kills somebody. The idea is that a rock kicked by a lawnmower can have an equivalent amount of force as a bullet delivered from a .357 pistol.
Lethal lawnmowers. I like it.
Potentially lethal projectiles are a possibility, so they get with the program at a gun range, where they roll out the green carpet and spice it up with stones to create the lawn from hell.
This is gonna be a horror show.
To complete the Nightmare on Myth Street scenario, Jamie fashions some friendly foam targets. Neighbors.
If any rocks come out of the mower with any force, this foam is soft enough that it should easily show it.
Most mowers have stone guards, but this myth points to a poorly maintained machine, so bye-bye.
There we go. Safety feature removed.
That's a sin in the safety manual. Is Adam about to cast the first stone?
I start out and I get into a rhythm. It's the most terrifying rhythm I've ever been in. I actually ended up by turning my entire body away from this firestorm of little tiny pebbles. One even flew up in the air and landed on my hat.
Good Lord!
The lawnmower goes quiet, but over the fence, all hell's broken loose.
Hit, hit, hit.
That went all the way through.
Wow.
It just goes to prove the point, Mythbusters make lousy neighbors.
I'm amazed.
But did the stone strike with bullet-like force as per the myth? To find out, they need laboratory conditions and a killer lawnmower calibration rig.
This thing's stuck.
In the interests of relative peace, quiet, and safety, Jamie does an Elon Musk by removing the gas engine,
And we got it.
hooking the mower up to a power welding machine, and turning things electric.
I love it when things actually work the way you hope.
That's amazing. All right.
The plan's simple. Power up the blade to the top speed of a regular lawnmower, drop it on a rock, and observe how fast it flies on high-speed camera.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Well, let's do this.
18, 32, 34, speed.
Here we go. Dropping a lawnmower onto a rock. 3, 2, 1. Cut it.
The blade moves so fast, it strikes the stone 3 times.
Oh, wow, just absolutely decimated that piece.
The fastest chunk was going 250 feet per second, and that's actually pretty significant for a chunk of rock about 1 inch long and a ½ inch wide.
250 feet per second is 170 miles per hour.
Okay, so we got a whole pile going in.
Now they're giving their mower more to aim for.
Dropping a big pile of rocks. Cover your eyes. 3, 2, 1. Cut it. Everybody okay?
Chunk. Chunk made it out.
Well, I hope we got the shot because that was the sound of the blade coming off of the motor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The high speed shows 1 clean hit.
Boom.
400 feet per second, 272 miles per hour.
Well,
I feel like we're in some very dangerous territory.
Which is right where the Mythbusters like it. But is this territory as dangerous as a bullet from a .357? Before they left the gun range, Jamie did a spot of data collecting.
the 357 went at 1,400 feet per second. Now, the fastest rock we got off of our lawnmower went 400 feet per second, which is nowhere close.
But it's not busted right there. No, because while this rock is bigger and slower than this bullet, it's heavier. What I'm wondering now is there a rig I can build that can compare the amount of energy the bullet brings to the equation and compare it to the amount of energy the rock brings?
The answer is an ingenious yes, in the shape of an impact pendulum.
Let's take a gun and shoot the face of this hammer. What's gonna happen? It's an indicator of how much energy the bullet brings to the equation. Now, if I fire a stone at the same hammer at this speed it would be kicked by a lawnmower, and the hammer moves the same amount, well, then we could conclude that the amount of energy being brought to the equation by the bullet is the same as the stone.
Well, that looks nifty.
With the Heinemann stamp of approval, it's back to the gun range.
Gun is hot. All right, 357 on your mark.
And 3, 2, 1.
The pendulum peaked at 60 degrees, marking the energy delivered by a 357 bullet.
We've got the data we need to move on to stones out of a lawnmower.
Now, if you thought that means no more guns, then think again.
Wow. Because stones from a lawnmower are hard to aim, and because Adam's pendulum target is very small, we're going to take the lawnmower out of the equation and use a pneumatic launcher instead.
Before long, Jamie has it firing at around 400 feet per second, the same speed as the stone launched by their Elon Musk mower.
406.
Seriously? Awesome.
Time for the final showdown.
Good to go.
Firing in 3,
A stone lies hidden in the grass.
2,
The lawnmower approaches.
1.
Stone flies out at 400 feet per second.
Dude, I swear that went past 60 degrees.
All right. See how high it actually went. Wait. Oh my gosh, dude! Dude!
It went above the 357.
That's 66 degrees. That's more energy from the rock. I'm sorry, I'm yelling, but I totally didn't expect this result. That is more energy from the rock than from a bullet from a 357. That is amazing. Shocking. Totally awesome.
I knew lawnmowers were scary. I just didn't know how scary. So with everything that we tested, I think we have definitively proven, and frankly, I'm astonished by this, but that a rock thrown from a lawnmower can possibly have as much or more power than a bullet from a 357. This one's confirmed.
Bifurcation from above.
3,
It's a deadly myth
2,
from out of the blue.
1.
Literally.
Ah!
The myth is that if a pane of glass falls out of an office building and you're unlucky enough for it to find you on the street, it will shing, cleave you right in twain.
Well, I don't know about that, but whatever happens, it ain't gonna be pretty. For us to do our glass guillotine experiment, ideally, we need a human. I asked for some volunteers from the shop crew, but nobody stepped up.
So Jamie's making his own gel-based volunteer body double with some extra human flesh features.
This is a polyethylene material, and it actually rips, just like flesh will rip.
Getting a human-like texture for their torso is critical.
There we go.
Adding bags of blood, what's not to like?
Lower down.
And with the gel mix molten,
It's all looking good.
Ta-da! Hey! Oh, he looks a lot better than I was afraid he'd look.
with fresh flesh all set,
Hey.
they're good to go.
This is the Santa Rosa Fire Department's fire training tower. Today,
I hate heights.
we're gonna be dropping large panes of glass onto unwilling ballistics gelatin test subjects.
So we've got a 4-foot by 6-foot piece of 3/8-inch thick glass, like what they would have on top of a high-rise. And I'm gonna hoist it to 75 feet,
Good.
where Adam and I are gonna drop it.
But it's not just any kind of glass.
The glass in an office building is called tempered glass. It's made to be very hard, and it also doesn't break into shards. It actually breaks into many, many thousands of little tiny chunks, kind of like this.
This could get messy.
Man, this is scary.
Yeah, that's it. Jamie, this is working beautifully.
What we are looking for from the glass here is not whether or not it kills him.
Okay, now, I figure we hoist it over our heads.
Yeah.
3. It's that it would cleave him in 2, 1.
And it's a bull's ass.
I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna hit him. It's gonna hit him. And then what feels like just before it got to our dude, it went like this and hit the ground perfectly flat and spread in every direction.
Oh my goodness. It looks worse down here than it did up there.
When I was like 10, I would have taken these home and pretended they were diamonds and pretended I had treasure.
I would have sold them to the neighborhood kids and made a profit.
Either way, this myth is going to need a bit of a helping hand.
What do you think? Should we head back to the shop and make a system for guiding the glass?
Yeah, I've got some ideas.
Me too. Ta-da! I know it doesn't look like much, but check this out. This coat hanger will be a welded steel rack which we sit on the lip of the building. We're clear. These red pieces of parachute cord are guide wires which we mount to the ground. Awesome. The glass has riders on it that keep it aligned with the guide wires. They say the glass is tempered, but is it bad tempered? We bring it up with a winch.
Go ahead and winch up the glass.
Oh, here she comes.
Drop it from the top and bzzz, tink. It hits our test subject square where we want him to and slices him right in half, or not. That's what we're gonna find out.
So is this just a perilous pain, or is it a glass guillotine?
It is really just about to happen. I can't wait to see this.
In 3, 2, 1.
There it comes. Ah! That was perfect.
It's a direct hit. But did it divide, or merely conquer?
He's still in one piece.
It did not cleave him in twain. It merely beat the living crap out of him. But there's still only one dude. There's not 2 half dudes. Gotta try something else.
To make 2 dudes from 1 dummy, they're gonna need something that packs more punch than tempered glass.
For that, you've got to move to plate glass. Now, they don't use plate glass in office buildings specifically for this reason, but for due diligence, we've got a piece of plate glass here.
With a jagged edge or two added just for effect,
Oh, now it's coming.
this myth is heading for its sharp end.
In 3, 2, 1.
Here it comes. Oh, it's good, it's good. Oh! That was beautiful. Oh! Dude, that would be cleaved in twain.
Not quite a bullseye to the brain, but in twain, he truly is.
Dude, that's amazing.
So, myth busted, confirmed, or split decision?
Can glass falling from a high rise cut you in two?
If it's the glass they make high rises from, then no, it's not gonna cut you in two. It's gonna kill you, but it's not gonna leave you in two parts. But if it's the wrong kind of glass, then absolutely it can leave you in two big chunks.
So right kind is busted, but wrong kind is plausible.
Plus a plausible.
All right, I'll buy that.
All right, let's get out of here.
We've seen how lethal a lawnmower
I totally didn't expect this result.
and plate glass can be,
Cleaved in twain.
but could the humble tissue box also end in tears? Or worse?
Killer Tissue Box says that this tissue box could potentially be deadly. That in an auto accident, if it's sitting on the back shelf of your car when you collided with something, it would be propelled forward with enough force to actually kill you when it hit your head. Let's try.
I don't think this is gonna kill you. What do you
No, I
think?
didn't really feel it. Try again. Okay, started to feel it right about there. Shall we do this full scale?
All right, why not?
The ultimate test will be devastatingly simple. Take a car, insert a tissue box and a buster, and drive it into a wall at high speed. But they want to do multiple tests. So first, they need a repeatable crash test rig.
Are you gonna cut this off?
No?
Oh, okay.
And in the spirit of whistle while you work, Jamie has a fun fact about backseat items that go ballistic. In just 1 year in the U.S.,
13,000 people were injured by unrestrained objects in the back of the car during an accident.
ouch, this myth has wheels after all. So a human stand-in is called for, in the shape of ballistics gel in a box.
Hopefully, when this car stops, the ballistics gel's not going to tear itself out of the mold.
Some finishing touches that probably won't survive the first test,
That's good.
and this myth is wheels down and ready to roll.
We're in Alameda, California on an unused naval airstrip. We need a long, straight, open run.
To replicate an accident, they've got 1,000 feet of cable. One end attached to the crash test sled, the other to 3 concrete barriers, which will act as an anchor. So when the cable is pulled taut by the tow car, the crash sled will come to a whiplashing stop.
Slow it down.
All clear? Let's crash on.
Well, we've got our back seat here, and we've got our ballistics gel making a head here. The tissue box is going to go on the back shelf, and on impact, it's going to travel forward and hopefully hit our ballistics gel. With our meter here, which has got 1-inch markings, we should be able to see exactly what its velocity is and calculate how much force it's imparting to someone's head.
First, a quick run through to test that the crash test rig will actually crash. Nope. Instead of snapping things to a sudden stop, the cable snaps off the rig.
Damn it!
Take 2. And take 3.
I don't know what we're going to do.
I thought I made a good rig, but I was wrong.
The solution, some huge ratchet straps to strengthen the sled.
Jamie?
Yeah.
I think this is a really good solution.
And they're ready to put their reputations on the line. or cable.
Come on, come on, come on. Right there, I want it to stop right there. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
Perfect.
Exactly 45 miles an hour, over.
Mythbusters now has a mostly working crash test sled. I'm very pleased, yeah.
But before they test the terrifying tissue box, they want to try out some other random rear shelf objects.
Well, this one's definitely the heaviest.
Right.
And so there's an argument to be said there that it could crush your head. This one also is fairly heavy, and then maybe this one could break your neck even if it doesn't crush your skull.
If the myth is correct, this tissue box is at the top of our lethality pyramid.
First up, how much bite does a 2-pound subwoofer have in foot-pounds of kinetic energy?
Here it comes.
It's a direct hit at a beam-busting 45 miles per hour.
It pretty much would have hit you dead on in the head. We'll have to crunch the numbers to find out how hard, but it was a pretty good hit.
The impact measures 135 foot-pounds of energy, enough to seriously addle your brains, but you might survive. Next up, a regular 3-pound fire extinguisher.
That looked like a perfect hit.
With a kinetic energy of 203 foot-pounds, the driver could be extinguished.
There's your proof. If I whacked you on the back of the head hard enough to do that, you'd be hurting.
Next, they go way over the top with a 10-pound bowling ball. This should be quite a strike. Bowling ball? More like a cannonball. 676 foot-pounds worth of cranium-crushing impact. So that's 3 hits and 3 trips to the ER. Or worse. But back to the origin of this myth, the half-pound tissue box. This is it. It's time to
Find out if this is actually deadly.
And at 45 miles an hour, its kinetic energy is a measly 33 foot-pounds. Just headache material, if that.
There's just no way. I mean, we tested a whole bunch of stuff. The bowling ball went right through this whole rig. Tissue box.
It might be like, ow!
This myth's already a sniff away from being busted. But finally, for due diligence, they're going to do it again with a real test vehicle, complete with buster and a tissue box. All towed by Jamie right at the speed limit.
Okay, this is the 70-mile-an-hour test. This is maximum speed, over.
This time, the target is the concrete barriers. So it's a one-shot deal.
The car looks great.
And at 70 miles an hour, cue manic laughter. It was a bullseye for the car, but the tissues flew up and hit the ceiling, not the driver. And the box survived intact. The cardboard's not crumpled. There's not even a single torn tissue.
Looks pretty good.
You know, that's a good indication that this is really deadly, though. That's the one thing in the car that's tough enough to survive an impact.
So on that note of heavy sarcasm, what's the verdict?
Jamie, I think killer tissue box is definitively busted. Even if you had a decorative plastic or metal cover on this thing, it just doesn't have the mass to inflict lethal damage.
Modern life is full of accidents just waiting to happen.
Cleaved in twain.
But the ancient world was jam-packed with some very weird weapons.
Watch out!
First up, might this be a medieval missile from the Middle East?
That didn't go at all like I expected. Dude, it turns out that the torpedo might have been invented in Syria in the 13th century.
Really?
Well, this, in fact, was a rocket-powered device that skimmed across the top of the water, delivering an incendiary to its target.
Did it work?
We have no actual record of them actually using it. All the accounts generally agree on the overall shape of this torpedo, that it is pear-shaped, and that it's powered by a black powder rocket of about 20 pounds of powder.
Well, why don't we go down to the shop and each take a stab at it and see what we get?
To test this myth, first they build 2 small, epoch-appropriate copper prototypes to see which design works best. All they know for sure is this surface torpedo was apparently pear-shaped. Spoiler alert, with 2 fins extending out. Methodology, medieval and modern.
I'm using every sheet metal production tool I have ever purchased, from synthetic hammers, planishing hammers, motorized planishing hammers, anvils, beater bags, everything.
And I've got a cannonball.
Jamie's stone tool technique turns out a flat-bottom torpedo, while Adam's modern methods manufacture a V-shaped hull. With their 2 different designs at the ready,
We'll see what happens.
it's time for a head-to-head.
Well, that thing's looking pretty snappy.
I'm pretty psyched about it. Can't wait to try it. How's yours?
It's not quite as pretty as yours is, but it ought to work.
To try out their torpedoes, they shoot off to Treasure Island, where they set up a test range with a target at 100 feet. First on the launch pad, Adam's deep V design, plus black powder model rocket.
It's just sinking into me what we're doing. Crazy. In 3,
Time to roll back
2,
the centuries.
1. There it goes.
Look at that. That was lovely.
But not very warlike, unless your enemy is 30 feet away and around a corner.
Any suggestions?
You could strap 2 rockets onto that rocket mount, because I think you're just not getting up on top of the water. It may be that you just don't have enough power.
Of course, when in doubt, add more power.
In 3, 2, 1. That was awesome!
Well, the twin jets do get things moving, but this weapon definitely dresses to the right, so there's no V for victory.
Yeah, that hull shape doesn't seem like it's working very well.
The fact that it's spraying so much water around says that it's wasting a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So it's Jamie's turn in the Syrian spotlight. Flat bottom hull, 1 model rocket.
Here we go. Ooh.
Clearly, it harbors dreams of being an underwater torpedo, but Jamie's unfazed.
I figure all I have to do is bend these tail fins with a slight downward pull to them, and that ought to hold the front end up.
Take 2, with 2 rockets.
This one's for the gold. There you go. Come on, baby.
It's not perfect, but it's clear. The flat bottom kicks butt.
I think we have our design.
It goes pretty quick, doesn't it? Okay, let's get out of here.
Time to go full scale. And Jamie's had a dazzling idea for turning sheet metal into Syrian torpedoes.
I'd heard about this technique called hydroforming, where you use water pressure to form sheet metal shells. We take our piece of sheet metal and clamp it between 2 massive plates of steel. We've cut out an almond-shaped hole in the top plate and attached our pressure washer pump to a small hole in the bottom plate. Now here's the fun part. All we do is start the pump, and the water pressure pushes the sheet metal out the almond-shaped hole, inflating it just like a balloon. Ha! It's perfect. Beats beating on it with a hammer.
The production line swings into gear, and the shells are turned into torpedoes, complete with rocket casings, flotation foam, and control fins.
I think our torpedo army is ready for deployment.
Time for a road trip?
It is.
Shall we get started?
Yeah, why not?
Let it drip.
An enemy boat is moored 800 feet from shore, well out of range of any ancient archer. The torpedoes are painted Damascus Dayglow, and the modern equivalent of the myth's 20 pounds of black powder slides into place.
This is an M motor. It puts out 270 pounds of thrust for approximately 14 seconds, and it will be our
ye olde rocket engine.
Remember, the myth says that the torpedo delivered an incendiary device, destroying its target by fire. But first, they're testing without payload for accuracy.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1.
As Jamie would say, whoops.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that was a little too powerful. What do you think? Everything seemed to go haywire. It spiraled up into the sky and did this massive belly flop.
It was fun, though. Let's do it again.
Maybe that first test was just a misfire.
Fire.
Or maybe not.
It was like a porpoise. Yeah. It kept going up and then down underwater and up.
To try and get this myth on target, they tether the torpedo to an underwater guide wire tied to the boat.
Fire.
Oh, shoot. That didn't go at all like I expected.
Next, they bring the target closer and raise the guide wire above the water.
I really hope this works.
Come on, come on! No! No!
But the torpedo heads for the hills.
Maybe we should just go home.
No! We have to hurt this boat. Darn it!
Fire.
It's a deeply disappointing day.
This is starting to get me upset.
Fire.
Of failure. After failure,
Bugging the hell out of me.
after failure.
Captain Kirk never said this to Scotty, but I think we've got too much power. We're going to go with a rocket motor that puts out about half the thrust.
With patience and daylight running out, they arm the torpedo with its gasoline payload
10.5 pounds of death and destruction.
for one final Hail Mary.
In 3, 2, 1, fire.
There it goes! Come on, baby, come on! Hit it! Ah! Just boom!
That sent fire up over the bow of the boat. That was awesome.
Holy crapola! Skipped beautifully on the surface and slammed into the side of the boat.
Delayed gratification. Hard to beat.
Well, how do you want to call this one? Was the Syrians' mythical surface, rocket-powered, incendiary-delivering torpedo been an effective weapon of war?
Indeed it was, based on this test. We have to call it plausible, don't we?
It's plausible. Let's get out of here.
All right, you guys, this next myth is gonna be insane.
What is it?
That's it, the hwacha. It's an ancient Korean weapon.
Oh. If there's a picture of it, that means it's not a myth, it exists.
Well, we know it exists. What we're gonna test is the legend of the hwacha, whether or not it could do what they said it could do. Apparently, they could fire 200 arrows all at once, going 500 yards, and all of the arrows explode on impact.
It's a massive Oriental myth with 3 key components. 1, distance. Can a fire arrow actually travel 500 yards? 2, detonation. Can it be rigged to explode on impact? And 3, destruction. Can you really set off 200 at once?
So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna build one of these arrows from the materials that the ancient Koreans would have used. I have some bamboo, I have some feathers for my fletching, and finally, a piece of steel to make my arrowheads out of.
Displaying secret fletching and blacksmithing skills, Tori assembles his ancient arrow.
Now it's time to see how it flies. Pretty dang good.
Easy. 1 down, only 199 to go. And with the arrow prototype sorted, it's off to see if they can make them fly. A safe distance from civilization, Grant and Tori set about making black powder rockets.
Don't hit it too hard, man. I'd hate to see you blow your hand off. Hey.
They knock up a bunch with varying amounts of black powder and head out to the battleground.
This is perfect. I mean, can't you just imagine an invading army coming out of that forest?
They pace out 500 yards and set up a target
This is gonna be perfect. We're right at the tree line.
to see if their arrows can match the myth for distance.
After it lands, you run out there and stand over where it landed. Got the rangefinder, and I'll take a range on you.
Quick, they're charging!
Oh, yes! That was nuts!
It's a flying start, but not far enough.
The arrow only made it to 290 yards. We're not stopping until we reach 500.
For round 2, they double it up to a twin-engine arrow.
Come on, baby. Come on, watch out.
Come on, come on! Whoa! Oh! That's 500 yards, buddy. That went the distance.
Success, 500 yards. Tick. So it's back to the shop for part 2 of the myth, detonation. To test if a flaming arrow could butcher its target, a side of pork plays the enemy.
Ah, you filthy little pig.
They insert an arrow with gunpowder payload
Okay.
that's wired for detonation.
In 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wow, that's good. Wow, look at that. Burning of flesh.
All right, but as far as making it a mortal wound that explodes inside you?
Yeah, the arrow itself is probably going to do more damage than the explosion.
Yeah.
The arrow's not meant to scorch the enemy, it's meant to blow it up. So they repackage the payload for round 2.
3, 2, 1. Oh.
Whoa!
Ow!
That's a little more what you were looking for.
2 tests, 2 very different results.
Whoa!
Now, before we had a thin paper tube, the tube blew out and all the energy was being released. In this test, we sealed both ends of the container. Ba-boom! Big wound.
Distance and detonation done. Now it's time for destruction. Can the Huacha really fire 200 arrows at once? It's early morning on the day of battle, and Tori's been secretly working through the night.
For the
There you go. It's free.
Constructed from original Korean materials of bamboo and wood, it's the launch platform for the flaming rockets.
Let's measure out 500 yards and set up your army.
Drafted. Drafted.
Good thing you got a light infantry.
Oh, how long you been saving that one?
Faced with a foaming enemy 500 yards away, it's time to charge the rockets, all 200 of them.
You ready to load the Huacha?
I'm getting excited. This is actually the coolest ancient weapon we've ever made. I think it's going to take down the army. I'm guessing at least 50% go down.
A bold battle cry that's got the enemy infantry trembling in its boots.
All right, buddy. Let's do this. Get it.
Let's light the fuse on this flaming myth.
It's going. Another 30 seconds. You can see multiple fuses going.
It's the launch of a lifetime. A fiery spectacle not witnessed in 500 years. And every arrow but one took flight.
That was fantastic. Just seeing all the rockets come out of the watch at once, beautiful thing. Seeing that would be terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
The army is still standing, but on closer inspection, so is the myth.
They've all grouped right over here.
We only had 50 soldiers. Imagine if we had like 3,000, 30,000, 300,000.
She's right. A full-size army, and this would have been carnage.
That was a success. I mean, we got all the arrows to fire off except for one. We would have killed this army.
Next up, can you turn a log into a lethal weapon?
This myth is from medieval times, actually, and it involves a Hungarian town called Pakish that was being threatened by their neighbors. So the entire town got together. In one night, they apparently made a cannon out of a tree. The entire body of the cannon exploded, killing half the townspeople.
It's two myths for the price of one. Could our Hungarian bombardiers have made a cannon from a tree? And could it have blown Pakish sky high in a catastrophic misfire? For authenticity, first they need a tree type that was common in medieval Europe. Dutch elm fits the bill.
Jamie, you're doing such a good job.
Get out of my way.
And in line with the myth, they're going to forge their cannon the old-fashioned way, with ye old-style tools.
Getting a little workout this morning.
While Jamie strips down to strip bark by hand, Adam knocks up a 14th century bow saw.
Now there's some medieval workmanship.
Their research suggests the body of the cannon needs reinforcement. So with the help of some blacksmith buddies, they wrap it in red-hot bands of iron.
That's the ticket.
Oh, it's good.
And rivet them in place.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
As the metal cools, the bands contract and tighten.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
All right.
I got it.
Now for the pointy bit of this build, a drill to turn a log into a gun barrel.
Hopefully I'll make something that resembles a spoon drill, which is one of the first drills that they used.
Unfortunately, it soon becomes clear where this drill got its name.
We're about half an inch in.
Because it's about as effective as, well, a spoon.
I need somebody with a whip and a drum.
With 5 feet to get through, boring this hole is just too boring.
Based on what I'm seeing here now, I'm thinking it'd probably take a couple of days to get through it.
So Adam takes a knife to the spoon drill.
I'm not doing anything that the Pakish wouldn't have done if they had had a chainsaw.
While Adam abandons medieval methods in the interests of modern myth-busting, Jamie clings on to the Middle Ages.
I'm making a cannonball out of granite.
You may be thinking pigs might fly. But as Adam barrels his way through with 21st century power, a perfect stone sphere slowly emerges. The 14th century wooden weapon is finally finished.
That is a tree cannon.
And that's a handmade cannonball to go with it.
It's so far beyond anybody's experience that we're all kind of blown away.
Just goes to show what's possible when you're hundreds of years old. So, locked and loaded, the Mythbusters head off armed, dangerous, and set on destruction. Their firing range, a disused naval airstrip in Alameda on San Francisco Bay.
We don't want to drop this, do we?
Good news, there's plenty of gunpowder.
You ready to load some powder there, Jamie?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
They're starting with 2 3-ounce cartridges.
Ah, we are in the load.
And a tennis ball for a test run.
Fire in the hole! 3, 2, 1. Boo!
Wow. Is that a flaming tennis ball? That was a good bang.
Yeah.
The tree cannon aced its first serve.
Well, the tennis ball went a little more than a football field in length, which for a tennis ball is a lot.
Fired up by that result, they doubled the load of gunpowder.
Loading the cartridge.
And stepped things up to Jamie's hand-carved cannonball.
Satisfying a little thunk.
Fire in the hole.
It's 100% medieval. A tree, stone cannonball, and gunpowder.
I don't have a clue where that went.
I didn't see a darn thing. Did you see anything?
Wow.
Well, it definitely fired. And the barrel is empty. They've proved you can make a cannon out of a tree.
It's a long way.
Really?
Yeah.
But Jamie's cannonball is long gone.
I'm a little bummed out not to find the ball, you know. I put a lot of work into that thing.
Cheer up, Jamie. There's a big boom coming. Remember, the myth says that the tree cannon exploded, destroying the town. Time to overdo things.
Well, we put 6 ounces of powder in last time. What are we going to put in this time?
5 pounds.
Whoa.
Yeah.
On a danger scale of 1 to 10, this is an 11. Make that a 12. They're sealing the end with an aluminum plug to simulate a blocked barrel.
If this doesn't blow up this cannon, I don't know what will.
This is basically going to be a bomb, and there's going to be splinters going everywhere.
The team backs up to the fence. And we're back in Pakish over 6 centuries ago. Could the town really have been wiped out by its tree cannon? I'd say that's a definite yes.
Is everybody all right? I mean, like, the heaviest parts go farther than the fence.
That was a bit too close for comfort, because clearly tree cannons can explode with frightening force.
There's a little black on the ground around where the cannon was, and that's all that's left.
1 busted cannon, 2 confirmed myths.
My God.
They've proved a cannon made out of a tree will fire, and it could misfire with catastrophic consequences. So maybe the best advice for the good people of Pakish should have been, run!